What's going on, everyone? This is Bill here. The channel name is KO Bets. Welcome to the show. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind just quickly subscribing to the channel. If you enjoy this type of content, you'll get notified whenever I go live. I do like to do this live format. Don't have the best editing skills myself, so it's just fun to do live, and you can ask questions and stuff and we can debate. It's pretty, I think it's a cool format. So for today, we're going to go over UFC 268 Usman versus Covington, taking place tomorrow, Saturday, November 6th, in Madison Square Garden, New York. So pretty big venue, lots of fights on this card. 14 total. I hope everyone had a great week. I had a pretty decent one myself. This is my favorite show of the week, this one. Probably because it's on Fridays. It's for sure the most stressful, but it's the best show. So we start off the night, CJ Vergara against Odi Osborne. CJ Vergara comes in at plus 160 odds. Odi Osborne minus 190. CJ's making his UFC debut. He came up through the Contender Series. He's on a 5-fight win streak with 5 KOs. He likes to, on the Contender Series, he likes to push the pace. It seems like he likes to engage. He likes to strike with his opponent. So I kind of expect, high pressure, him to be in Odi's face the entire match. Odi's 1-2 in the UFC. He has had 8 fights in a row end inside the distance for him. So I just like to point to the results, and that kind of leads into the prop bet that I'm going to throw out there. I like some form of a knockout. The interesting thing about Odi, he has changed weight classes quite a bit, from like 135 to 145, coming in at 125 here. So don't know what he's doing with that, but I kind of like on the money line, I'm going to take CJ Vergara. The underdog will go with this. There's a couple underdogs I'm taking, but I kind of like his ability to win this fight. I definitely like the fight to not go the distance for minus 225. Yeah. So those would be like the 2 prop bets I'd put out there. If you want, you could bet on some sort of KO. Just choose your preference in this fight. I think just stylistically, how CJ fights, we're bound to see some fireworks in this matchup. This is followed by Melsik Bagdasaryan against Bruno Souza. Melsik is the heavy favorite at minus 350. Silva is the underdog at plus 270. Let me close this. I got support assistant popping up on my computer. So Bruno Silva, he's 10-1. Not sure why this always happens on the UFC site, but he's 10-1. He's making his UFC debut. Melsik, on the other hand, he's 1-0 in the UFC. Scored that head kick in his debut. Seems like a pretty impressive fighter. He lost his debut to a submission, and then he's just been knocking people out since then. So I like Melsik in this fight. Bruno Silva, he's coming off a similar story, lost his initial fight, and now he's on a 10-fight win streak. I think he's a good striker in his own right as well. I just think Melsik is going to land more damaging shots in this matchup. I like his pace. He just fights with a lot of ferocity. So I like Melsick in this matchup at minus 350. I don't know if those are, that's an expensive um, odds right there for Melsick, but some prop bets, you could do Melsick via KO or decision for minus 280. There's also the Melsick KO for plus 150. Not necessarily saying those things will happen, uh, but I tend to, like, with a striker, I tend to feel pretty comfortable betting on a KO decision outcome. Uh, minus 280 versus minus 350. I mean, it's a significant difference, so I don't mind choosing something like that. I'm less risk averse than I oftentimes avoid choosing this specific outcome of a fight, especially picking rounds. That's tough. Um, but I think Melsa could potentially score knockout in this match. I'll probably hedge it with the KO, or sorry, with the decision, but for sure like Melsick. Then we've got Dustin Jacoby fighting John Allen. Dustin comes in as a heavy favorite, minus 380. John Allen's plus 290. John Allen's 0-1 in the UFC with a no contest. The no contest came as a result of a failed drug test. Dustin Jacoby, he's 3-0 in the UFC with a draw. Just a good scrappy fighter. I expect him to be in John Allen's face the entire match. I think his strikes are heavy. I mean, Dustin's a minus 380 favorite. I don't know if that should be the case, but I like him in this matchup. I'm not gonna. So I would say I like the KO or decision for Dustin Jacoby, but that's minus 360. I mean, to take him straight up, it's minus 380. To be perfectly honest, like, I'd rather pay minus 350 for Melsick than I would minus 380 for Dustin Jacoby. That might be stupid, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of pushes the pace, kind of wild. In the next fight, we've got a weird one. We've got Gian Villante against Chris Barnett. Not particularly impressed with either fighter. Gian Villante, he's been around for a while. He's on a 3-fight losing streak in the UFC. And his last 2 wins were split decision wins. Hasn't really had a notable win since 2016 when he scored a KO victory. I mean, yeah, a split decision win's a win, but that's not what it didn't give me a vote of confidence that we're seeing, like, the best version of Gian Villante out there. I kind of wonder, what version we're going to see of him. Like, if he gets caught by anything Chris Barnett throws, or if Barnett somehow ends up on top of him, I think Gian's in a lot of trouble. But I think he should be well-rounded enough to avoid being taken down, or hopefully he can avoid any sort of substantial strike by Chris Barnett. The odds are close. Gian Villante's a slight favorite at minus 130. Chris Barnett's plus 110. I don't know. For me, I kind of like Barnett. If it's, I see him winning by a KO if he wins. I see Gian Villante probably winning like a decision or something. I don't know. It's a real tough fight to pick because I mean, if Gian Vellante just like doesn't look good and gets finished, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna pick Gian Vellante at minus 130. Um, you know, let's avoid the knockout and point them apart, get the decision win. I don't think it's gonna be awful after the earlier rounds for him, but he hasn't been particularly impressive himself. So I don't know. Really don't know. Chris Barnett, he got submitted by Ben Rothwell in his debut. I'm just wondering if he could catch Vellante. Like I kind of like Ben Rothwell. Well, I liked him like before he got injured and stepped away for a while. And now that he's come back, he doesn't look like anything special to me. It's just annoying to watch him sometimes. But he used to like be quick for the weight division and super unorthodox, and now he just doesn't look the same. So, and he's more. I consider him more of a striker. So the fact that he submitted Chris Barnett, I don't know. Like, does Chris Barnett belong in the UFC? We're gonna find out, I think, in this matchup. So I'm going with Gian Vellante, though. I am. I do not trust a man with that body type to win a decision. I just don't. I mean, 24% of his wins come through a decision. I don't know. Not that Jan's much better. All right, we've got Ian Gary taking on Jordan Williams. Ian Gary's a heavy favorite at minus 400 odds. Jordan Williams plus 300. Ian Gary's making his UFC debut. 4 out of the 7 wins he has are come via KO. He's, a good striker, came from Cage Warriors. Jordan Williams, on the other hand, we've watched him fight in the UFC now twice. So he got choked out by Mickey Gall, and then he just like gassed out in a decision loss versus Nasruddin. I don't know. With Jordan, it's kind of like he has to show something different, similar to what he did in the Contender Series, where he scored a round 1 knockout versus Gregory Rodriguez. He's got to show something different. I think Ian Gary's gonna probably be more technical, probably have a better gas tank. Maybe be a little bit quicker. I don't know if he's as big as Jordan Williams. Jordan Williams, from what I recall, he seemed pretty big. So, yeah, I just don't. I like Ian Gary at minus 400 to win on the money line. I'd love to take Jordan Williams, but I just kind of got to see something different from him. Just fairly unimpressive thus far in the UFC. That being said, his competition hasn't been bad. Following him, he's fighting the last guy he lost to. We've got Edmund Shabazian against Nasruddin Imavov. So Edmund Shabazian, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he lost to Derek Brunson and Jack Hermanson, who are obviously terrific at something specific, and that is wrestling. But before then, he was just knocking people out. He's got some big power. So it's like, are we gonna see Nasruddin survive whatever onslaught comes in round 1? And I have Nasruddin circled at minus 125. And I'm scared. I don't know. I don't usually do this. So Edmund, I think he's gonna have to do like an early knockout, right? I think he's gonna be dangerous. Like he could take round one. Can he take the second round as well? I think maybe. I mean, Nasruddin, he hasn't been around for forever. I mean, maybe. Is Nasruddin gonna take him down though? I gotta stick with Nasruddin. Um, I gotta stick with Nasruddin. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm gonna stick with Nasruddin because that's what I have written down here. If I place a different bet, if I do like Edmund or something, I'll change it. But I think if Edmund wins, it's gotta be an early knockout. It's a good fight though. It's a lot of good fights. We've got Philip Halls against Chris Curtis. Philip Hawes is minus 310 odds. Chris Curtis plus 245. Philip Hawes has been impressive in the UFC. He's 3-0. Good boxer. Had a big decision win versus Kyle Dawkins, so he showed the gas tank. Just a really, really solid fighter. I like him a lot. Chris Curtis on the other side, he's making his UFC debut. He seems to possess some significant power. The question is can he catch Haas? I'm not sure. I think I favor Haas in this fight, simply because I'm like anticipating him being able to win this via knockout or decision. I don't know if he's gonna get a knockout. I think if Chris Curtis gets a knockout, it's probably, or if he gets a win, it's probably with a knockout. But I think I like Philip Hawes just from like like he could win in more ways, I think, than Chris Curtis with that decision in play potentially. That being said, I don't think the fight is going to go the distance. I think minus 190 odds. Like that's pretty decent, especially if you're, like Philip Hawes, but you don't like that minus 310 line. I think the fight not going the distance is pretty appealing. The Hawes KO is plus 110. The Hawes KO or decisions minus 280. So nothing like too super favorable, I think. But I kind of expect someone to get knocked out, and I expect Philip Hawes to win. In the next bout, we've got Ragin Alaquinta against Bobby Green. Alaquinta, we haven't seen him since 2019. Took some time off. He was 1-3 in his last 4 bouts. I honestly don't know who we're gonna see. This is a guy who's been in the ring against Masvidal, Kevin Lee, Dan Hooker, Habib, Donald Cerrone. He's lost 3 out of 5 of those. The worst being to Cerrone, in my opinion. That I just didn't love that because I thought, Alaquinta, what he needs to do in this fight, I think, against a boxer like Bobby Green is he's got to get it to the ground, and he's got to, he's got to push a big time pace and like eat some shots potentially in this bout. So Bobby Green, on the other hand, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He is a really good boxer. He seems to like to exchange in fist fights a lot. I kind of like Bobby Green here because he's been in the sport, right, for the last 2 years. I kind of like him because he's the younger guy. He's the tall. It says they're both 5'10". He's the younger guy. I think he is gonna maybe be a little bit better on the feet, and I think I think he's a really good fighter, and he's game for a fight, and I don't know why why we're seeing him in this fight. To be honest, it's a little weird. Maybe in New York, Madison Square Garden, back in front of the fans. He might be from New York. I don't know. Kind of seems like it. In the next fight, we got Alex Pereira against Andreas Michailidis. Alex Pereira is making his UFC debut. He is he is famous for KOing Izzy in kickboxing. So Israel Adesanya, he carried a really, really strong, good kickboxing record throughout his career, and this was one of the gentlemen that knocked him out. He's fighting against Andreas, who is 1-1 in the UFC. He took a KO loss to Modesta in his debut, and then he won. Alex Pereira, I think he got submitted in his debut, and he's just had 3 knockouts since then. It's kind of obvious what he's going to be good at. It's going to be striking. So, the question is Andreas going to be able to take him down, or is he going to get hit with something? I kind of think he's going to get hit with something, but I think the lore has traveled, and Alex Pereira at minus 255 odds is expensive. That's who I'm picking on the money line, but I think that's expensive. So you're probably, if I'm going to bet on this, I'm probably looking at like a Pereira KO, and even that's minus 115. So I don't know what I'm going to do in this one, but I like Pereira to catch Andreas. Just stylistically, like if we go back and look at, shoot, it probably doesn't have it here. 1 second. Okay, so like, is Andreas gonna take down Alex Pereira? Let's see. Just look at the results. Like, okay, yeah, he had the decision win. Look at the results of his last fights. I think he feels he fights a certain way, and I don't think that way is going to be favorable against a opponent like Alex Pereira. So, I like Pereira. I like the KO. I don't know. I'll have to decide if I want to take that prop bet. All right. I don't like this order, so I'm not going in the order of the UFC website. What is this? This isn't. Oh, I think they were talking to Rose, or I heard in the press conference yesterday that they moved Justin's fight up to leave some space for the coach who's working with Kamaru, Rose, and Justin. Dang, I don't know. I kind of would like to see those fights back to back to back. I'd kind of like to see Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera. So that's who I'm going to start with. That's who I'd like to see start off the main event. We got a legend in Frankie taking on a guy who's been. I like him. I like Marlon Vera. I didn't like him after he beat Sean O'Malley. I was, you have money riding on some people, you get a little pissed, but I like Marlon. I think He's 2-2 in his last 4. I think he pushes a good pace. I think he likes to make fights scrappy. I think Frankie could potentially win this fight, but it would be like dominant time grappling, where he's in favorable positions and clearly at an advantage for the judges to, see. I think it's a little point striking, and then in order to set up a takedown or something like that, pushing Marlon against the cage, stuff along those lines. I think that's what Frankie has to do to win this fight. I think he can win it, but I'm gonna go with Marlon Vera. Frankie's 1-3 in his last 4. He seems to have struggled against some taller opponents, and Vera's not super tall, but I kind of put him in that tall category. Frankie, decision loss to Holloway, got obliterated by a Sandhagen knee. Chun Sung beat him too. That might have been a KO. So I like Frankie. I just don't know if he's, this is a great opponent for him. So I'm going to go with Marlon Vera, minus 145 odds. Frankie's at plus 125. Not that I don't really have a prop bet for this one. I think a variety of outcomes could occur. Like, could we see a knockout? Sure. I think the fight probably goes to a decision. Is the most likely outcome, but I'm kind of fading Frankie on this matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised if Marlon was able to get some sort of finish. All right. Oh, and then we're going in the order I want to go, right? So the next fight is Shane Burgos against Billy Quarantillo. You know what, UFC? I'm not gonna buy these because you guys did this. Pat Barry is the pound for pound best groomer in the game. Pat Barry is the pound for pound best groomer. Who's Pat Barry? Can you elaborate, please? Let me know. You can elaborate. I'm going to continue here. So we got Shane Burgos, minus 200 as the favorite going against Billy Quarantillo, plus 170. Burgos is on a 2-fight losing skid to Barbosa and Josh Emmett. Solid boxer, good approach. I expect him to, for sure be way more technical on the feet in this matchup. Really like Shane Burgos' stand-up game. That being said, I just love watching Billy Quarantillo fight. He's 4-1 in the UFC. He pushes a crazy pace. He's down to strike. He could potentially get this fight to the mat, which is super favorable, I think, for him. So, Shane Burgos is the favorite, but I'm going to go with Billy Quarantillo at plus 170, the underdog. I do think the fight goes the distance. That's minus 120 odds. So, I just like Billy Quarantillo in this. I think he could tire out Shane Burgos. I think we saw Shane Burgos get really tired against Josh Emmett. All right. So if we're going in the order I would set, we'd have Justin Gaethje against Michael Chandler next. Justin Gaethje's minus 210 favorite. Mike Chandler is plus 175 underdog. Gaethje hasn't fought since the submission loss to Habib. Chandler obviously coming off the KO loss to Alex Oliveira, the belt holder. Yeah, so this should be fireworks. This is a great, great matchup. I was kind of going like back and forth, you know, who do I think's gonna win? You know, and I think both fighters are great fighters. I think I don't know if it's there. We're not gonna know until Saturday, but I think Justin's gonna just be like a little bit stronger in the striking department. And what I mean is, you know, he's gonna land more shots. I expect almost like a you know, I don't know if it'll necessarily be the same as like Chandler fights way different than Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's just different. But I wonder if, you know, as the match progresses, we just start to see Justin really open up his stand-up game. And, you know, Alex Oliveira's on a great win streak right now, but he got knocked out by Alex's left-hand punch. Justin Gaethje, he punches hard. So yeah, ultimately, I don't know if Michael Chandler is going to be able to take the punishment that Justin's going to put out there. I think he's showing up and he's mentally ready to do it, and that's like the most intriguing part about this is they both seem not intimidated by each other, and they seem excited to go in there and compete. So that's always positive. I think it is going to be a good match. I think how Chandler wins this is he implements a little bit of grappling, right? It makes Justin uncomfortable, and I think how Justin wins this is he keeps it standing. And that's not to say like Justin can't wrestle with Chandler or Chandler can't strike with Justin, but I just think in my head that's where I would view a grappling match as more favorable for Michael Chandler. Justin's got a wrestling background. He doesn't wrestle, he boxes. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Justin Gaethje, minus 210. But I like Chandler. I like Chandler a lot. All right, then we got the first title match of the night. We've got Rose Namajunas taking on Zhang Weili. Is it why? Yeah, it's Weili Zhang. Why do I have it written backwards? I don't know. Zhang is 6-1 in the UFC. Her only loss is obviously coming to Rose in both of their last fights. Prior to that, she had a split decision win against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Rose, I've said it before on this stream, she's my favorite girl fighter. She's also my doppelganger. That's what I asked for when I got a haircut this week. I said, give me the Rose Namajunas. Let me get a Rose Namajunas haircut. And now, one second. I don't have a belt. You know, something like that. Nah, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty short. Wasn't expecting that, but it'll grow back. So Rose Namajunas, super technical. I think she's the best striker in her division by far. The question is she gonna be able to end this fight early? Get another KO victory. It might be tough to win a decision for Rose. She didn't look the best at the end of her fight versus Andrade, but that was after Andrade got super frustrated and tried to sell out for a finish. I think Rose has the capacity to win this fight, and I think she will win this fight. I think the plus 100 odds is crazy on Rose. I'm gonna probably bet on a Rose KO finish in this, or like hedge it, maybe Rose KO finish decision, but I don't think the fight goes the distance. I love that bet for minus 150. You got, arguably the two most dangerous strikers, right, at their respective divisions in terms of knockout power and ability to put away their opponent. So, I like this fight, especially in 5 rounds, 25 minutes. Are both of these women gonna last 25 minutes? I don't know, and it's no disrespect to their toughness. It's with respect to both of their output and ability. So good matchup, but I'm going with Rose. We're taking another underdog. I can't believe Rose is an underdog. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm stupid. We'll find out though. Wait, I still got that win percentage posted? Let me double check. 70.625%. That's a C, barely. Pretty good though. In the last fight, we've got Kamaru Usman against Colby Covington. Kamara's minus 320 favorite. Colby's plus 250. Obviously, we've never seen Kamaru lose in the UFC. I think his toughest fight was against Colby Covington. Was there probably like some decision win that he squeaked out in the past that was difficult? Sure, but you could argue in that last fight between them, it was 2-2 going into the 5th. Like Colby had 2 rounds, Kamaru had 2 rounds. But since then, Kamaru's fought Jorge Masvidal, won a decision. He KOs Gilbert Burns, and then he KOs Jorge Masvidal. In the first fight, he broke Kobe's jaw. And I think we've only seen him improve as a striker since then. I think Colby just presents something different, and that's like super competitiveness. That's maybe not the best technique or whatever, but he's doing what he needs to do to win the fight, and he makes it hard. He pushes a pace. That's something that always blows my mind too about watching Colby fight. Is he has an extremely high output, and it seems like every broadcast it's like, yeah, Colby just set a new PR for himself, and he's got the record for the weight class. So I think he's a super good fighter, impressive fighter. I think he can take punches. I think we're gonna see a similar story in this fight where Kamaru's gonna probably have the more damaging stand-up strikes. I don't think Colby's gonna be able to implement any sort of wrestling against Kamaru. I kind of would like to see Colby try and throw that wrinkle into the mix, but I don't think we're gonna see it. Kamaru, I think in the UFC might have 100% takedown defense. Yeah, So, I mean, that's crazy. So, he's a. I would like to see Colby get a takedown if he, multiple takedowns if he's going to win this matchup, but um, I think, we've just seen Kamara get better. Colby, we saw him fight against Tyrone Woodley, and he obviously scored the stoppage in round 5, but and he's dominated and beat up everyone they've given him except for Kamara. And I mean, Kamara was hurt after that too, so um, it was a battle for sure. I kind of think a finish result favors Kamara, and I think if we start trending towards that decision though, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2-2 going into the 5th. And then at that point, like, what's going to happen? I don't know. So I don't totally discount Colby. And so plus 250 odds is super appealing on him. I think minus 320 is just, it's expensive for Kamaru Usman. And I think I don't know if it was that against Jorge Masvidal. And we saw Jorge's performances in both of his fights against Kamaru. It wasn't good. So I'm going to take Kamara Usman. That being said, I think we've just seen him improve. We haven't seen him lose. He beat Colby once. He went 5 rounds with him. Yeah, it was a stopped early, barely, sure. But, I mean, I think he was winning that 5th round. So, yeah, I think Colby's a really good fighter and the clear-cut second best in this weight class. I'd be actually like to do a little bit of exploring because I think Kamara's said some interesting things this week. I think that boxing shit is stupid. But if he wants to be done with the UFC, like, go fucking leave, but, like, don't come back. Alright. So we've got Kamara Usman. Colby. Gilbert. Leon. So Leon and Masvidal are fighting. I mean, that's a super smart fight to take if you're Masvidal. The way things are trending. Who I'm most interested to see leap up the rankings here is Hamzat. I mean, his win versus Li Jingliang was amazing. Is he gonna be like? I don't know if you give him like. Fuck Stephen Thompson. Like, I think Hamzat would just take him down and freaking ragdoll. I kind of think that same thing about like Jorge and Leon Edwards when I'm looking at this top of the talent. I kind of want to see like Luque or Chiesa or, I mean, I guess is Neil Magny, is he a decent grappler? Yeah, see, Chiesa beat him. Chiesa's a decent grappler, so yeah, I don't know if I would want to see Neil Magny. Maybe like, it seems weird like a weird set of names, but I'd like to see like Vincent Luque, Chiesa, Bilal Muhammad, like one of those guys next, and then just feed me all the big names. Like feed Hamzat all the big names. If someone wants to face Kamaru, they gotta go through Hamzat. And then if Hamzat wins that matchup, give him Kamaru. I think Hamzat's legit. Maybe. I mean, the Leon. So we got Leon against Jorge. I think if Jorge wins and Usman's still the champ, there's no shot. Like, Jorge has to beat Gilbert Burns or Colby Covington to get a title shot. I don't know who else has matchups in here. But if you could get, like, Hamzat versus one of these guys, and then, I mean, what's Gilbert gonna do? Is Gilbert waiting for the winner versus Usman Covington? Because in my opinion, if Leon Edwards wins against Masvidal as a new new title contender, he could potentially step into that picture. If Usman still got the belt after Saturday. So I don't know. I wouldn't be. I don't think it's gonna happen in their next fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're watching in 2 fights from now, Colby or Kamaru fight against Hamzat Chimaev. I think maybe they're 1 fight away from each other. And so it was interesting to hear Kamaru say, like, I might not be around when he gets to me. Okay, like, I'll give it to him. If Kamaru keeps the belt, he's probably a couple fights away from Kamaru still, right? But 2 wins, that's not... For Hamzat, he could get that done in the first half of next year. Are you going to be around in the second half of next year, Usman? So I don't know. I just thought they were interesting comments. Don't know what to say. What the fuck is a Pat Barry is the best? I'm going to Google search that. Is the best P4P groomer? In the game. Oh, is he... That's Rose's husband? Ah, nice. Nice. Yeah, I like that. Appreciate it. Appreciate that comment. That's awesome. I'm going to probably wrap up the show here. I appreciate everyone who watched. If you wouldn't mind, let me just pull it up for you. Subscribe, por favor. Yeah, please subscribe. You'll get notified when I go live. I do the show every Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Just the way things have been going, I definitely like the live show format. I might have to submit my picks a little bit earlier though to give people an opportunity to watch. So I don't know. I'll decide because that'll be like a little extra work, but I should be able to get my picks for next weekend's fights out at the beginning of the week, right? So, yeah, I'll probably do something like that in the near future, but I'll let you know what those changes are. It won't change, the show format won't change, it'll just be a little bit earlier, and then the lines will move and stuff, and that'll be dope. So, tomorrow, I think I'm going to watch the fights, I don't know where, I don't know with who, and I'm going to watch them. And probably do some yard work. I gotta rip up all the vegetables, like the plants, the carcasses left over in the vegetable garden. I don't know what's going on Sunday, but I'm going to Bobby's house and I'm excited about it. And then next week is pretty exciting. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I'm a huge stonk guy, so I love watching GameStop and AMC. And I don't know, I just watch AMC a little bit closer, but I'm invested in both. GameStop, you can't chart it or do much with it. It's crazy. So for AMC, we're approaching, today's the 5th, our next trading day's the 7th. We could potentially see, let's doodle. We could potentially see this shit come down, test the bottom of this wedge, break out, it'll probably come back down, and as long as we get that nice decent high bounce, we're off to the moon. I'm using my trackpad, that's why it's all... They can't move backwards, you understand they can't go backwards and up. You know what I'm saying, the line? Maybe I've had a few too many brews. But I think regardless, we're looking, and this is a big no-no. We're not supposed to call out dates or anything, but this is a betting show, so I think we gotta take some sort of stab at it. So I think we set new all-time highs by December 15th. Write it down. The all-time, it's like around $72 or something. 12.15 new ATH. That's terrific news. And I've got a 70%, it's likely there's a 70% chance that this comes to fruition, so. Appreciate everyone's time. Please subscribe to the channel. Have a great weekend. I will talk to everyone on Sunday morning. We'll do the football show. I didn't even watch the game Thursday night, but I saw the Colts whomped the Jets. I think I turned it on for 5 seconds, and they were showing a replay of a Jonathan Taylor 78-yard run or something. Pretty cool. So congrats to the Colts fans. I'll see everyone Sunday. Go Rose Namajunas.